protecting it, hard to deal with.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So AKAMARURED, for the first time on broadcast, really, and yes, his library.
Oh, he's got the hat on. He means business today.
Yeah. I wonder if he has the gloves on.
That's true. He might have the gloves on. We'll see if the finger guns come out today.
Yeah. The gloves. I need the gloves.
Interesting. And Shadowcraft being banned out over Daria in this matchup, so much more afraid of the mid-range Shadowcraft. And you know what? I can't blame him. It looks like, you know, FELERAN's got his, you know, super late game decks on lock and knows that mid-range Shadowcraft is just good against them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if we've seen not banning Daria ever work out for the opponents. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it for one match in the winners, or in the grand final last week. Or not last week, yesterday.
Yep. I mean, Daria can lose. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But is it going to lose
is
twice?
There a sign?
Oh, here we go.
0 fine.
All right.
0 fine.
0 fine.
Giving him a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
What does that say? AKAMARURED. Wow.
Oh, he's got the Aka gloves. He's got some Aka gloves.
He's upgraded his gloves. Wow. You're so cool. Oh, my God.
Who made those?
I should have gotten his signature.
Is he sponsored now?
He's sponsored by himself.
AKAMARURED gloves. Those are awesome. I'm going to have to hit him up, ask him about those.
Yeah.
Get some AKAMARURED gloves myself.
Dang. I hope he comes to a PAX or an Anime Expo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rough, though. You know, being from different country, expensive flights, expensive stuff all around.
Yeah. Send me around the world, please.
He's got a decent hand. No Daria. This is a good tempo push hand. It could be all you need against a neutral forest deck like this, but can be tough if it runs out of steam here.
Mm-hmm. Happy pig, happy pig.
Yeah. I feel like turns like this are always weird, too, because it's like, do you draw a card? Do you set up your Kai'Sa? Do you put out a Grimnir to block? I feel like Grimnir's probably the best option. Again, sucking away as many attack points as you can per turn against Daria is usually pretty good.
Yeah, and it trades against the board pretty well.
I like it. I think, yeah, just trade Happy Pig, play Grimnir. Feel pretty fine with this. You can even go face, but that gives an option to actually destroy the Grimnir, which I don't like.
You don't have a turn 4 play,
Mm-hmm.
so it's probably going to be Pure Hearted Singer, I guess. I don't know. That's a weak evolution turn.
Yeah, maybe he's saving the pig so that he can get the 3 defense off of it. Can't hate on him for that either. AKAMARURED not foregoing the plan of Piercing Rune.
Yeah. I think Piercing Rune's a really, really good card. It's so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
It does everything you would ever want.
Look at this
Board
turn.
removal, damage to face, cheap cost.
Decides to actually attack with the ward as well. Okay.
Doesn't have Daria in hand, but this is a strong board. And the evolution turn here is really weak.
Yep, I think it's just going to be the pig. I mean, I don't know if you
evolve
can.
a pig, you can only remove the 2/2.
It's true. It's true.
Which means you have what? 3, 3, 2, 8, 10, 12, 12 damage.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to play the Singer. I think you have to go pig into the ward, and then you play the Kai'Sa, evolve that into an Ogler. It's about as good as it gets. Now, what's rough here is that AKAMARURED had an insanely good tempo turn that last turn, but that's all he has.
Yeah.
He's got to make this count.
But I think the situation is very similar, right? On the next turn, oh boy.
Not bad, not great. That uses up all the play points except for 1 to put out a ward, and then he can evolve behind it, essentially, and get himself another little tempo push here. That might be stronger than his other option, honestly, of Piercing Rune. Perhaps Owl. I don't know. This is going to get rough.
Yeah, it's not super clear. I do think it probably lives in the space of evolving for face. So probably the Clark. Okay, wow, he's just putting all his stats into the Ogler.
Yeah, I like this. I think this means that the ward is coming. If the ward's not coming, then the evolve makes a little bit less sense here. I mean, the option could be Piercing Rune and Owl. and just try to fill up the board as well.
There it is.
Maybe because he has no cards left in hand, he's just considering the option of getting as much value out of that Golem Assault as he possibly can.
Yeah.
It's definitely not bad. And that would be the turn going into Beauty and the Beast, though, so it's kind of scary.
Aaron on FELERAN's side. Which, I mean, if AKAMARURED does not get something significant on the next turn, I think that Aaron shuts the door.
Yeah. Aaron is definitely a pretty good card at this point when your opponent's out of it. At this point, you can kind of predict that AKAMARURED's last card is not Daria if you're FELERAN, because he did not evolve the Magic Owl, did not play Daria that turn.
Yeah, not evolving the owl is big.
But then again, this turn from FELERAN is not too good either.
It's weak. It's weak. He can only take down one follower, and that one follower has to be a 2-damage follower.
So at least 9 damage open for AKAMARURED next turn, which means that
Magic
all he needs to draw
Missile.
is Magic Missile or Piercing Rune.
My songs are heartfelt.
Kind of an unfortunate draw for FELERAN to not really have any defenses against this, but that was a really nice
The ETA is coming. Oh no.
earlier turn from AKAMARURED.
No. Okay, here's a missile. Oh. Yeah. That's rough.
I think that's the best option, though. I think now you Silent Lab into Golem Assault, play out your hand. I still think you evolve the Clark and you go face.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Get all that damage in so that even if your board does get wiped, you still have a chance at top deck for the win.
Yeah, you want your board to be strong. You want them to swing into Evolution because that's going to wipe out their board. So if Aaron comes down, actually it might be Hector. Well, no, you're at 1. It'll probably be the Aaron.
Yeah, you've got to try to heal up. Really thinking about this evolve here. I think he should, because that puts him in range of Piercing Rune, puts him in range of Magic Missile. If you don't evolve here, those things are not true. And you're not going to predict that they always have the Aaron here. As a matter of fact, you probably would think that they more often have Beauty and the Beast here than Aaron.
Yeah. So does he swing face and then evolve zombie and trade something?
I don't think so. I don't think trading here does any good. Evolving the ward, too. Interesting.
Huh. Okay, so he actually, yeah, he evolves a ward, puts less defense on the ward, whereas he could have done that with the zombie.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. He could have evolved the zombie into the follower he just did, and then that ward would have been needed to evolve into, as opposed to just running into it with the carrot.
Yeah. The carrot can take it down. Aaron evolve is the safest way.
Yeah, Aaron evolve kind of just side skirts all the problems that he sees in play right now. I think AKAMARURED's evolve right there was not on point.
It's actually pretty uncomfortable either way. If you Aaron evolve,
you can take out the Ogler, and then you're at 6, and then one of the followers trade into your guy, and then you go down to 4. One card off the top? I don't see 4 damage off of it. I'm feeling okay with that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Elf Queen to follow up.
Yeah, imagine if that ward had 1 health remaining now.
That's all I'm saying. That evolve right there, I think, might have cost AKAMARURED this game. I mean, he still has the chance to top deck out of it. He is playing Daria. He is quite a bit ahead in the defense totals, so it's not like he's lost. But with the cards that he had access to, I feel like he kind of threw a little bit away here.
Yeah, and that's not going to help. I mean, the game actually continues.
Well, actually, in a miscount of the defense, that doesn't even get any 2 damage in. So yeah, I think this game just starts swinging in the favor of FELERAN. He can play Elf Queen here, cement the board, go right back up to 12. Doesn't even necessarily need to do that. Can play Hector. Basically has every option available to him now. He's facing against an opponent that has no cards in hand and just a 2/2 in play.
Yep. There's the Elf Queen. And we talked about this before, where the Elf Queen kind of playing it out early is actually really, really nice as opposed to late.
Always better. Always better. Especially against a deck that can tempo you out of nowhere. Like, say, for instance, you're like, okay, I'm going to go back up to a bunch of life now. And by a bunch, I mean right now, 6 is great. and kind of like push ahead, or you wait on it and then they go Daria fill up the board and then you can't play it anymore because then they can just crack back for a lethal anyway. Well,
I'm up. What happened?
Daria's there now. But I think that pass turn right there is what solidified it. I don't think that FELERAN will take another chance and not play the Elf Queen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared if he doesn't. I guess he doesn't need to worry about it now because the Daria didn't come down, and of course there wouldn't have been a chance for it with no cards in hand, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, playing a Daria at exactly 9 is not.
It's not the best, especially because we already know that I believe only 2 Oglers are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not all 3, so maybe there is an Ogler left. Maybe there was 3 played earlier. But in any case, it's not going to be the most impressive Daria of all time.
Yeah.
And FELERAN might just be weighing his options. Like, he wants to end the game pretty soon, too, so Beauty and the Beast might be an option just so he can close the game out on the following turn instead of the Elf Queen. In my opinion, I think Elf Queen is just the safest play. You just basically take away any outlet to victory.
Yeah. You don't need to necessarily win as fast as possible.
Yeah, you've got the Grimnir as well. You've got a Bahamut.
I would Elf Queen. Watch the animation. Listen to the sounds. Play the Elf Queen.
And it technically still sets up lethal. It's not a bad play.
Oh.
Okay, this is just some stuff. AKAMARURED's going to play out this Daria, see what he gets. But, I mean, lethal is in play right now. So I don't think there's any removal spell that costs 0.
Yeah. There's nothing. That's the big problem with playing Daria at the exact number of play points that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Your follow-ups just aren't there. At least one extra play point could maybe do something.
Right. AKAMARURED just going to pass it up. So that's going to be the first game to FELERAN here. Daria deck does lose a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, AKAMARURED basically had a hand that had a good start, but just crashed itself, right?
Yeah. And realistically, he didn't draw the burn spells off the top to kind of go with the game plan that we were talking about anyway. So had he even gone that way, he wouldn't have had enough to finish. So just kind of petered out. Didn't have what it took to win that game.
Yeah. That puts FELERAN 1 game ahead.
And he's got this spicy, super, super late game Havencraft deck, which I think might actually have a pretty good shot against Daria too because he's got 3 Curates in it. It's a lot of heal.
Yeah, I think the Curate's going to be super important. I think the Evolution Orbs alongside the Curate is really what's going to help that.
Yeah.
Right? Because much like Elf Queen, just kind of playing it sometimes doesn't really help because the board is still there.
I still find it very interesting that a lot of these players are opting to play the one of Elf Queen, but they never play it on 7. They never play it on curve. They're just like, they wait and wait and wait. You know what I mean? And just like for the best opportunity possible. But I don't think that's how you're ever supposed to play that card. Not unless you're playing against, like, realistically Burn Blood, right? Which we probably have to play it on turn 7 anyway to stay alive.
Yeah.
But if you're playing against, like, a Burn Bloodcraft deck, and they're just like, you know, they've got all this Storm, they've got all this damage coming out, you do want to wait for as long as possible. They get you all the way down to, like, 4, and then you heal back up to 20, then they have to start their whole entire engine over again. So it's just a different way to play against a different style.
Yeah. You want to make sure they spend as many resources thinking they can close it out.
Right.
And then you shut the door on them and say, surprise.
Surprise.
You were never close to begin with.
Right. I'm still at 20 the whole time, my friend.
Time to shine, Daria.
Time to shine, Daria.
All right, so Daria and Magic Owl in the opening hand with the Magic Missile. Not too shabby.
Yep.
And I find it interesting. FELERAN choosing to run a full Aegis package, a 3 of, instead of the Ether package.
Yeah. Aegis is instead of Ether of the White Wing. I guess, I mean, it's the only way you can do it if you want to play around things like Mr. Full Moon, right? It's like, great, if you play the Aegis, if you play the Ether of the White Wing method and you have less Aegis in the actual deck, the one Aegis that you do play if it gets Full Moon, you're done.
That's true.
Whereas if you got 3 of them, you can play this game where you're like, how many Mr. Full Moons did you bring?
Plus, it does let you play a lot of followers along the curve that don't require you to Ether them out because they're just bad anyway. Aethering out a Dark John or Judge of Retribution or, you know, Curate. They don't do anything.
Yeah. Quite heartbreaking.
This song's for you.
Yeah, it boggles my mind, the Silent Laboratory. You know, I get it. I get why it's in the deck. I don't like it. I don't like Silent Laboratory.
You just don't like the explanation.
I don't like it.
He's getting... Well, he didn't get the concentration. But he could. He could be very focused, though on his next turn is probably going to be an owl and something.
Yep.
An owl and something.
It's a pretty good couple turns here for FELERAN as well. He's got basically the answers he needs to stop mid-rangey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, doesn't have anything to play this turn, but doesn't need anything to play this turn. I feel like you just draw a card here, see what happens.
I think you skip. I think the Jean can be very valuable. I think the Red Hot Boots can be very valuable.
Perfect. Perfect.
This song's for you.
Nice.
Exactly what you want to see. Oh, wow. Look at that. Perfect.
Priest of Le Cudgel.
I thought you were going to go Lekka with that. Priest of Lekka.
Priest of Lekka.
I was like, what?
Yeah, Lekka has started his own religion and following. The art of North American Shadowverse.
All right, here goes the Magic Owl.
You ready for the good stuff?
Decides to evolve that immediately. And going to set up the all-important Guardian Golem with Daria turn, which I really like. I really like doing that.
Especially in this case, too. I mean, Havencraft is going to have to kind of scramble to make that work, especially because the board is non-existent right now for them.
Man, the options they had for FELERAN look really nice right now. So he can just play Snow White, play Red Hot Boots, kind of fill up the board just a little bit here. Still have all the options in the world for next turn.
Crystals of snow shimmer.
It's going to have to be a really big Daria turn. It's not going to be bad. I mean, he could also Magic Owl here.
Yeah, you have the Piercing Rune, so...
Yeah, so maybe Magic Owl, Piercing Rune, Conjure Guardian, then Daria. Seems pretty good to me.
Yep.
Oh,
Piercing Rune will remove the owl.
No. The Snow White.
The Snow
Owl
White.
stays put.
Yeah, the owl is there. Get that owl out of my face.
All right, how many Oglers?
3 Oglers.
No
Oglers.
Not a bad redraw hand, though.
Yeah.
Drew into another Piercing Rune, got a Blade Mage and a Chimera
Have
here.
some spells, have more draw. Not the ideal hand, but still you can work with it.
Yep. Priest of the Cudgel can do a lot of work here, so can Judge of Retribution. They both kind of do the same thing. Except for Judge of Retribution draws you a card.
Maybe Judge, unless there's
Well,
things
actually,
that you want to play alongside Priest.
It does do a big difference because it can evolve over the Daria as opposed to the Owl, which is really nice. You can actually take out a little bit more damage here.
I think that's definitely the play. I mean, if you play the Cudgel, there's nothing else you can play alongside it. You may as well draw a card.
Plus, you leave behind a 3 defense Owl that can't be evolved anymore to set up for the Judge of, or the Retribution, the John. Yeah.
The Beacon of Light?
Yeah, the Beacon.
of
That's right. I think
Beacon
is it Beacon
of
of
Hope?
Retribution? Beacon of Hope?
John, Beacon of...
It's a beacon.
John,
for
Beacon
sure.
of Salvation.
Salvation. I knew
Not
it was a
hope,
shun.
Not late
I knew it was
not
a
light,
shun.
it's Salvation.
Yeah, Beacon of Salvation.
What do you think John is kind of salvation-y?
I mean, salvation is just a word, right? It's just, you know, you aim for it, you give it to other people, you know?
What?
You give them salvation, yeah. Beacon of salvation.
I thought you were talking about how it was a word. You just give the word to other people.
No, not the word, man. Salvation itself, okay?
been ages since
Salvation is like purity of the soul, right? It's like you cleanse them.
Yeah, I don't want to take a bath. Actually, I really do want to take
Yeah,
a bath.
please do.
I really do. Hey, I smell beautiful today.
Please do. All right, so I think AKAMARURED should probably start off with some card draw. See what he gets here.
Nope.
Nope, not at all. He's gonna go with the aggro plan instead.
And I think that's fine.
Daria, it's your time, girl.
You'll be riddled with blades.
I would just Piercing Rune, yeah. Yep. Swing.
All right, never mind. He's just going to go full on tempo this turn. I feel like there is a really good answer here in the form of Jean. We've talked about this, but it's going to leave one follower.
Yeah. Cleanse AKAMARURED.
That's
Cleanse
right.
them.
Cleanse them.
Yeah, 7 costs is the entirety of that.
Yeah.
Is there any other combination you can play Priest of the Cudgel with the Red Hot Boots, but that doesn't really help.
No, that's not good enough. You've got to play the Jean.
Play the Dark Jean, that really doesn't help.
No, you definitely don't do that one. That one means you super lose.
It has to be Salvation.
Salvation, take out either the 2 followers that are left over and just pray. That's the hope.
Give him a wash.
That's right.
FELERAN.
AKAMARURED's feeling pretty good about this one. He's still got a top deck out of this, but he's got card draw in hand, and he's got an extra damage.
You're done for.
Yeah, I think he can go for the Chimera.
And FELERAN did not draw into any of his curates, so even if he can manage to get past this next turn, he doesn't have any heal.
He could.
Ooh, that was pretty good. Into another Daria with an insight as well. I like this. AKAMARURED's got to make, like, this is an unassuming position, right? You either take out the follower, you go face with that 1 damage. It could be huge.
Yeah.
It could be huge. That 1 damage that he chose not to go face with might mean the difference between lethal or not coming into this endgame.
I mean, now the Dark Jean clears everything.
I think you do the Dark Jean this turn. The do-do. Didn't mean to say that, but yeah. I think you do play the Dark Jean this turn. I feel like you can save the Retribution for a better play, like possibly trading with Dark Jean and then healing it up and clearing another board.
There's no ward. This is why you need ward.
Yeah,
You're
or
very
curates.
scared.
Just none of those options available right now. Out of evolution points as well, so cannot get full value out of Priest of the Cudgel. Not going to have it for playing the Aegis either, which I don't think is ever going to have a chance to be played.
There it is.
Yep, got to save that Red Hot Boots as well.
Okay. So it's all what the Daria will pull. How many Blade Mages? 2 Blade Mages were played?
I think only 1 so far.
Only 1? Okay. That, it's pretty likely that he's going to grab. Is there an Enchanted Sword in the list? We don't know.
We don't know. He could just empty out his hand before playing the Daria as well.
The Chimera is a little bit expensive. Is that 7? No, it's at 6.
Yeah, can't play that one.
Is that going to catch it up? 4. Nope.
Not
Can't
even
even
playing
play
the
the
Daria.
Daria.
Interesting. Gives a little breathing room to FELERAN here. So now he can attack with the Jean and then play the other Jean. Clear out the board yet again. I feel like not clearing out everything is too big of a risk.
Yeah.
This would have been the perfect turn to draw a curate, though. You could have drawn into a curate, played the Red Hot Boots, cleared out the entire board, played the curate. It doesn't have that option. And yeah, that 1 damage, that magic missile was so huge because if we get to this late game, there are 2 Bahamut's in the hand for FELERAN. The boards aren't going to be able to do it for AKAMARURED.
Yeah. And the fact that it's 3 defense, not 2, means that 1 Blade Mage can't finish it.
Right. That number's so big going into this late game.
I mean, I think at this point you kind of want to just go wide on the board, right? If there's no ward, there's no healing.
Yeah, I mean, you can clear the board. I feel like you need to step closer to winning the game if you're FELERAN, though. So I really like attacking for 5 and playing the other Jean to wipe the board. Okay, this works too. This is a lot better, actually. Because then you can play the Red Hot Boots and attack for 7. End the game in 2 turns.
There it is.
At least set up the lethal that way.
All right, FELERAN has thrown down the gauntlet. Oh.
That doesn't do much. Can't utilize that to its fullest this turn.
I think he's just Daria.
Yep. See what happens. There's the Blade Mage.
Yeah.
And that's not a Mysterian Missile. That is.
That is.
Okay. All right. So he found the extra damage he needed next turn.
So would a Curate save him? It would not.
Not at this point, no. He didn't
No.
draw it soon enough. He had plenty of opportunities to actually play the Curate this game and
Yeah.
finally get back into this game, but just
Yeah.
never drew into it.
And he had 3 of them, too, I feel
Yeah,
like.
he had 3 Curates in his deck. Did not draw them.
Jeez. That's harsh.
That is harsh.
Yeah, the Bahamut will just provide a target for the missile. The only way is if he wiped out both sides' followers.
Think about a world where that missile turned into a circle instead. And I
Yeah.
feel like FELERAN still has a really good chance to win this game.
Yeah, you could totally swing face a Bahamut.
Swing face, Bahamut, and then your opponent has to do something about it. They play their 2 Mysterian Circles. You play your Light John, wipe the whole board, win the game.
If only Jean, the Beacon of Salvation, healed you
Yeah.
as well.
It might be a little too good if it did that also.
Passes a turn over.
Yep.
And
Knows
that
he's a goner.
means, oh, he gave him the finger guns, but the series is not done yet.
Series is not done
The
yet.
match
But
is not done
you
yet.
got the game.
Yeah.
The more finger guns, the better.
Yes.
Not opposed.
That is right. Yeah. AKAMARURED, the first time on camera, on broadcast in the Shadowverse Open again for the entirety of the European season, is trying to put the run together. But FELERAN is not making it easy.
No, he's not. And he's got this Havencraft deck up now against Neutral Forest. I feel like we've seen this match before. I feel like Neutral Forest doesn't have an easy time against this deck. It does have a faster Aegis, but it doesn't have an Aegis that sticks around forever.
Yep.
Fighting and despair all you know?
Yeah. The Aegis is much more durable.
All right, Beauty and the Beast starting out in the hand of AKAMARURED.
Oh, boy.
Got the Ariat as well.
Okay.
FELERAN's got a good curve here as well.
It's actually so rare that you see the turns Beauty and Beast into Ariat actually happen on curve.
Yeah.
And cleanly.
This is a matchup where it could happen, though. I mean, Havencraft doesn't have huge followers to protect on turn 6, right? It's got Judge of Retribution. It's got John, which might not deal damage, and then it can evolve into a 7/7, which isn't big enough. So, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a deck that can fold to a Beauty and the Beast. But if it doesn't, Neutral Forest Craft is definitely a deck that folds the Aegis.
Oh, you played Beauty and the Beast? My evolved Aegis just
Yeah.
destroys
Nom
it. Yeah. The worst feeling in the world.
I feel like Kindly Treants do a lot of work in this matchup, too.
Yeah?
A lot of work.
I think Kindly Treants are really, really strong.
Yep. Can't play the Feria so that you can get full use out of the other cards in hand. There's the Curate. Game late.
A whole game late.
I love when you start the game. When you play Havencraft and you start with all of your Gemstone Carapaces, you're just like, man, I've got so much stuff. This is great.
Lots of value.
Lots of value. I don't think there's any more stats for that value. 2 play points, 3/5.
2 play points.
Not even Kindly Treant matches that. That's 3 play points for a 3/4, and that's with having 2 neutral cards in your hand.
Or lines under that. Okay, Kindly Treant is sitting there. So did you realize how tall the Kindly Treant was?
I mean, it's pretty tall.
Like, on its card art in the game, like you see that little portrait on the board right now, it looks shorter because it's cropped.
Yeah, it looks like a shrub.
Yeah, and his little hand just looks like, oh, that's part of the roots, you know, that go into the ground.
No,
But that's just his arm.
But he's a Treant. You know,
His torso is... What is the definition of a Treant?
I think a Treant is like a mythical walking, talking tree.
So here's a question. What kind of paper does it make?
Ooh, so you're talking about destroying all the Treants. So you're the evil person in Lord of the Rings.
What? I just want paper.
That's a very American thing to say.
Papers, please.
Okay, we're not going to talk about killing Treants because Treants are nice. They're kindly, and they help the forest folk. Okay.
Uh-huh.
They help humankind against the bad folk.
That is what I've heard. It could also be propaganda. Double
White wizard propaganda.
White wizard propaganda. Yeah.
This is a nice 1-2 punch. These kindly Treants are so big. However, they can fold to a Priest of the Cudgel.
Grimner.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Off the top, as usual. The first time you get an Evolution Orb active when you're playing Havencraft is the turn you play Priest of the Cudgel. Every single time. That's what you do with Havencraft.
Just like how the Israfil always gets popped by Lurching Corpse.
Yeah, every time. Yeah, there are certain things in this game that are absolutes, okay? There are certain things. When you're playing Havencraft, like, never worry, right? Like, if you're like, this board is too scary, just know that when your Evolution Orbs pop up, that Priest of the Cudgel's waiting for you.
Look at this board.
And now this is ridiculous. Beauty and the Beast is not going to have a good time playing into this board.
Yeah.
You can't even do anything to this.
That shuts off the game plan, really.
Yeah, you can't evolve anything to kill one of these 3/5s. You can take down the Priest of the Cudgel, but you're doing it at the expense of pretty much all the defense of the follower you attack into it. If not all of it.
Well, if you... Man, leaving them at 1 point of defense is not ideal.
Yeah, Gemstone Carapaces are too good against the neutral decks because they just do too much too fast.
Yes, oinky. Oinky.
And like this turn doesn't feel too good.
Wow. He's just gonna have to take... Oh, the Dark Jean, if you swing in with that. 3, 7, 10, 14, 16.
I think you're counting too high. If
he
you
had
evolve
a Dark Jean, he would have swung for 16.
If he had Dark John this turn, he could have evolved the Gemstone Carapace on the left.
Oh yeah, that would have been even more. That's
So that would
wait,
be 8
that's
plus
18.
4. That's 12. It's only 12.
Wait, are you sure? 3 plus 4 plus 3.
You can't count the 4. Priest of the Cudgel would die. Oh, you're saying attack with him first. Yeah. Derp.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 16. You're right.
Let's see.
It's a lot of damage. I don't think that's what you would do in this matchup anyway. I don't think you need to do that, but it's a lot of damage.
Cool.
It would be cool. Cool is
That's how I
correct.
play Shadowverse.
Just to make the memes, make the memes a reality. Fun plays only. Looks like AKAMARURED's writing up another sign here. See what he's got going this time.
I feel like Neutral Force gets itself into this situation so many times in almost every single matchup. You just can't quite clear out the followers, and your Beauty and the Beast becomes weaker because of it.
I'm this close to going back to my last season rant about Neutral Forest. Stop playing it. Stop playing these neutral decks. They're cool. I get them. They just don't do a lot, and they get behind so easily.
Yeah. I guess we're back into the need to play Hector train.
Yeah.
All answers are solved by Hector.
I feel like forget
Questions.
everything else about neutral decks. Hector. That's the best card in all neutral decks, so it doesn't really matter what class you play with it. Hector's still your best card. We've said that more often than anything else watching these neutral decks. Hector. Gotta play Hector. Best card,
Yeah.
Hector. Hector? Hector. Without Hector, I think these neutral decks would fold, period. I think that is the glue that holds the deck together.
The size that he can't just let it happen.
This is the end.
Has to play the Beauty and the Beast. I would go for the higher defense follower.
He just goes for the win. I mean, this is not a bad strategy if you know you're against the ropes. Like, if your opponent doesn't end you, they don't take care of the Beauty and the Beast, then you win. I mean, at this level, it's pretty hard to make a mistake like that, but it can happen. We've seen worse.
What in the...
Well, it can still get banished. Right, so Turtle in Blackened Scripture will still work.
Let's see. We can attack for 11 this turn, so not quite 13. So Dark John again, a lethal play. But not in hand.
You either get the Curates or you get the Dark Jeans. You don't get both.
You can't get both in the same game. That's not fair.
There's actually a line in the card that says...
One or the other, you choose. FELERAN taking his time with this one. Wants to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes this turn.
This is a tough situation.
Yeah, AKAMARURED does have another Beauty and the Beast, but he's out of Evolution Orbs. He does have a lot of wards. But I mean, this early pressure, the Gemstone Carapaces have done so much work. Like, literally, FELERAN has just sat on these.
101 my season.
What did he say? $40?
LOL?
LOL, my season?
My season? 101?
He doesn't feel good about this game is what
Yeah.
that looks like.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't either. Yep. Yep. Banish it.
Get it out of here.
Send it away.
Play a Snow White. Probably play the John as well, just to set up a lethal swing with multiple different avenues. Nope, doesn't even want to do it. Don't even need it, he says. Don't care.
Oh, no evolution orbs. No Sahak will. Just a Hector. Just a dream.
I really don't like not playing the John there. It gives AKAMARURED another turn. Because if not playing the John there means Hector can come down, take care of the Gemstone Carapace, and then you've got a ward, and then there's no lethal setup. I don't like it. Giving more time to neutral decks is not what you want to be doing.
There's a Hector. Yeah, I think you're right. So, if he swings a Snow White in,
Yeah, he can swing Snow White in, and he can banish, and then
yeah,
attack for 5. But without the extra 2 in play, he doesn't have the win anymore this turn. Again, that's probably not that big of a deal. But again, whenever you can shorten games against your opponent, especially good ones, you should probably take the opportunity.
yeah, it just would have been a win period. But I still, you know, as these play points go up, I guess he could throw up another ward.
I mean, just extending the game, right, with a deck that plays Israfils and Sahquills and things like that, you know, it's always risk.
You've got your Aegis, and somehow FELERAN has found all 3 of them again.
Yeah. The one downside of playing 3 Aegis is that you can draw 3 Aegis.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Dragoncraft players know that well with Bahamut's and the like.
And there's just the Aegis Bahamut combo that's waiting there, so that's going to be pretty much unstoppable.
Decides not to use the Evolution Orb this turn.
Elf Twin
Perfectly
Assault.
fine.
It's love.
Is that a
1,
good enough
2,
1-2
3,
punch?
4.
Well, if it hits the right 2.
Oh!
Actually, it doesn't matter. If it hit the other 2, then he could have just evolved the Curate for the win.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it. AKAMARURED gets knocked out. FELERAN's going to advance.
AKAMARURED knocked out. Made it to the broadcast on the loser's side, and FELERAN put a stop to that dream.
Now he's getting the boot.
Yep. Wow. Those were some matches that we went through.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of neutral matches. Lots of just really endgame strategies, slow-paced games.
We've made ourselves to the point where we're at the final 4 players.